came on here to say I cannot be with a man, with anyone who is afraid to admit when he's embarrassed, when he's feeling a little jealous or afraid or confused or whatever. Like, I think that, and this really isn't no shade, but I think a lot of the people that I've met throughout my life that are afraid to admit these things, they find themselves lying a lot. And what I mean by that is, like, they lie a lot because they want to portray this type of version of themselves that they think people want to see, that they think, shows strength instead of weakness, or, like those type of things. And so again, I think trying to be with someone like that, even trying to be friends with someone like that, is hard because you don't really know that person. You don't really get to know that person. You get to know this version, again, of what they want you to see. And like, for me, that's just not what I want. I want us to be okay with the fact that we are human and we do have emotions, and those emotions aren't always ones that we consider good, but that doesn't mean that we must act as if they aren't there still, though. So again, like, there are going to be times where you feel embarrassed, there are going to be times where you're afraid, or you don't know the answer to something, or sad, or whatever. And like, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to admit that, so then you can come up with reasons on why that may be, or so you can get to a point to where that's no longer the case, Like, my worst fear really is just ending up with someone who I don't really know. But I think there are some things that are just clear, like, to me, as a red flag when meeting someone, if it is kind of that, like, fear of admitting those things. It's kind of this negative outlook on people who do admit those things, or you can just tell, like, be careful the type of people that you are surrounding yourself with, because regardless if it's a them thing and you feel good and you feel like you're someone who can express yourself and you're confident in that, by them not feeling that same exact way, it will seep into what you got going on, okay? It will end up in a situation to where you're surrounded around people that you don't really know. I think also it can, because of that, like, insecurity of feeling emotions and all of that comes with it, and the fear of feeling it, you have people who sometimes project that too. And so it becomes like this whole thing, and you get caught in the crossfires of that. And so that was just a random thought, but I had to say it. Another random thought is, I see a lot of videos where people are talking about, like, they kind of try and they talk about the fact that, sometimes we don't need to ask questions. Sometimes we don't need to, like, psychoanalyze, and, sometimes we just need to be, we just need to do, we just need to move. And I totally agree, right? But I feel like sometimes I don't know, like, we have to learn how to decipher when that's needed and when it's not. And I think that's something that only internally you can kind of decipher and navigate through. What I'm here to say is that we have evolved and we have been given an opportunity and a blessing to be able to ask questions and to, like, think and to imagine. Not all species have that. And so that tells me two things, is that, it is something, there's just something that has really helped us throughout the human history, right? About being able to ask questions, being able to imagine, but also because we know that not all species have this, it tells us that it's not something that is always needed. That you don't always need to ask the questions, you don't always need to be psychoanalyzing, and you can still navigate through life, you can still get the things that you need. And so it's just like about having that balance, really. But if you are a person though, like, don't feel ashamed to, like, make sure you're asking questions. it is okay to ask questions. It's okay to the only thing is don't be so hung up on trying to find the answers though. Allow the answers to just come when they do. I mean, trying to find the answers, you can be taking an answer that isn't yours, that really doesn't apply to what it is that you're going through. But if you feel in your body, if you have that moment where it's okay, it feels like I need to be questioning this, I need to be asking why, or whatever it may be, do that. I'm learning though that the body really does just function and come up with the answers and problem solve and do all these things without our real helping with that, with our actual force of that, or whatever. It's something that is just what we're programmed to do, to come up with answers, to question, to move, to act. And so those things just happen naturally without us even realizing that we're doing that. Honestly, my problem solving skills have gotten so much better. I've been able to obtain knowledge so much better once I realized that. When it was don't try, even when we're talking about, learning something, don't go in it with the fear of OMG, am I going to be able to understand this and learn this? Or what if I get it wrong? Or don't go into it thinking okay, how's it going to feel once I know this thing? Or how's it going to look to other people once I know this thing? Or whatever, let's say you're even learning a dance move and you can't go in it with those type of thought processes. You have to literally just be in the moment, pay attention to whatever it is that you're doing. Do the thing, even with the fear, even with all of the things, but just trying to pay attention to that thing. But it's not I think sometimes too when we think about paying attention and all of this, we think it's us having to force it, but it's literally just you looking. You were programmed to observe and to take in information. Your body knows how to do that. And so as long as you're just allowing yourself to just look at what it is that you're doing and paying attention to that information seeps in better, and without you even realizing it's doing that. I just think that if you're someone like me for so long who felt I had to it had to feel a certain way, it had to be a certain way, I had to be helping my body do these things, I had to be forcing it in order for it to work. Coming to the realization that it's no, your body it's doing these things already. It is already built to help you navigate through stuff. And even through the fear, through the impatientness, through the excitement, through it all, your body is still calm. Your body still is at ease, because that's just this is what it does, And so, I don't know, it's just this difference that I experience now with life when I'm learning things, when I'm trying things out, even if it's outside of my comfort zone. It doesn't feel like a forced thing. It feels okay, this is something that I want to learn, or that I need to learn, or that I want to do, or that I need to do. And my body feels calm in those moments, even if I still do feel the fear, the impatience, whatever. And it's a little strange to me. I'm still I'm feeling okay, well, am I learning this? Am I obtaining this knowledge, or how did I just do that? And it didn't feel like I was forcibly turning the gears to do it. And it's again, because of the realization that you don't have to your body, your mind, all of it is already programmed to do these things.